Tearful revelation: the biggest mistake of my life was falling in love with Sam Heughan. On Monday morning, the UK's largest television station released a trailer for the show Truth Unfiltered, featuring special guest, Katrina Balfe. In the 45-second video, Kat sits in front of the camera, her hair tied up, her eyes quiet. The background music is tense. The host asks, "If you could do it all over again, would you choose to love Sam Heughan again?" Kat looks down, her lips trembling slightly, her voice choking. "I think that was the biggest mistake of my life." The entire Outlander fandom is petrified. It all started with a fateful night. In 2013, when the casting for Claire Randall took place in London, Katrina Balfe, then a little-known actress, walked into the room with slightly messy curly hair and deep, ash-grey eyes. Sam Heughan was already there, auditioning for the role of Jamie Fraser. When they read their first lines, the room was so quiet you could hear them breathing. The chemistry wasn't acting, it happened. In that moment, Kat says, "I knew I wasn't just going to be playing Sam's love interest. I was in danger." Behind the lights, for the first 6 seasons, Sam and Kat were on-screen icons. But few people knew that, between the steamy scenes and sweet lines, Kat had long nights of tossing and turning. "Sam had an irresistible charm," she says. "He made you think you were the only one in the world. And when the cameras turned off, I still believed it." They never made their relationship public. They didn't need to. We didn't need to declare it. Just a look, a handshake behind the scenes, was enough. Kat tearfully recalls. But love based on distance and secrecy, sooner or later will fall apart. Wounds no one sees. In 2020, during the pandemic, the two were apart. Sam was in Scotland. Kat was in Los Angeles. And that's when everything fell apart. He disappeared, Kat says. No calls, no texts. For 6 weeks. When she asked, "What are we?" Sam simply replied, "We're living different lives, you know." That was the answer that made me understand. This love only exists when there's a camera, Kat says, her voice breaking. After the pandemic, Outlander returned for another season. The crew held a press conference to announce the premiere. On stage, Sam and Kat sat next to each other again, smiling, exchanging glances, making the audience scream. What a fate! But behind the stage lights, there was not a word of conversation. Kat stood in the dressing room, holding a water bottle, staring into the mirror. He's better at acting than ever, she thought. A few days later, paparazzi caught Sam kissing a strange blonde model on the streets of Berlin. Kat didn't need confirmation. She just turned on her phone, went to the notes section, and typed. "The biggest mistake of my life was thinking I was the exception, the message that was never sent." One night, while filming Jamie and Claire's farewell scene in the season 7 finale, Kat couldn't help but cry. The director had to stop the camera 3 times. "What do you need to get your emotions out?" he asked. Kat just nodded silently and went into her room. There, she wrote a letter to Sam. "If I were a character in a movie, I would have forgiven. But I am real. I don't need someone to love me all my life. I just need someone who doesn't pretend to love me every day." She didn't send the letter. She just tore it up, piece by piece, and swallowed her tears. Back on set, she acted out the breakup scene, as if her heart was breaking. The camera captured Kat's first real tear since the pandemic. Behind the strength, in April 2024, Katrina received the Best Actress award at the Cannes Film Festival for her role as a betrayed woman in Fragments of Silence. As she stood on stage, she said something that silenced the entire audience. "I don't need to thank any of the men who inspired this role. I just want to thank myself for not letting my heart die after it was torn to pieces." The audience burst into applause. But Sam, who was watching the awards ceremony via livestream, just held his glass of wine tightly in his hand, silent. Someone asked him, "Did you hear her talking about me?" Sam didn't answer. The last encounter. A year later, they met again. Not on set, but at the funeral of a close friend on the Outlander set. Kat was dressed in black, her hair tied back. Sam was late. When everyone had left, they happened to be standing next to a newly filled grave. They were both silent. Finally, Sam said, "I'm sorry." "For everything." Kat didn't look at him, just replied, "What are you sorry for? For not really loving me? Or for making me believe that I did?" Sam looked at her. His eyes were red. Kat continued, "No need to answer. I've forgiven you." "Not for you, for myself." She walked away, leaving Sam standing alone in the middle of the silent cemetery. The memoir is called Mistake. At the end of 2025, Kat released a memoir titled The Mistake I Loved. In it, she didn't mention Sam by name, but anyone who had followed the journey of Outlander knew exactly who the man she described as, with eyes like a Scottish lake, was. A passage in the book reads, "I used to think that if you loved someone enough, they would change. The truth is, love doesn't change people, it just reveals them." The book sold more than 1 million copies in its first week. But the remarkable thing is, Sam Heughan bought 12 copies, a close friend confirmed. He read it over and over again. It was like he was rereading something he had lost. Quote,